Hello, welcome back, and for today's video, we're going to take a look at the spiciest Gardevoir EX list you've probably seen. Let's hop to it. Alright, so here is the list. Now, if you've been playing live, you definitely know what Gardevoir EX does. You've seen it all over the ladder. It did really well at EUIC, getting to, second place, but for some reason, if you don't know what this card does, basically it has the Psychic Embrace ability. So it allows you to attach energies from your discard pile to any of your Psychic Pokemon in any way that you like. The only caveat is you take 2 damage counters for every energy you attach. So it is really broken and allows you to power up attackers really swiftly. Now, the reason why this deck has been doing so well and it's so consistent is because it runs the Kirlia line. Kirlia line has the refinement or the trade, if you're familiar with that. Basically, discard a card from your hand, draw 2 cards. So you can burn through your deck really quickly and pretty much see your entire deck. Besides that, a lot of decks have been playing the Gardevoir, which has the Shining Arcana ability. So it's a really great attacker because it's a single prizer, but the Shining Arcana ability allows you to draw more cards and attach basic energies if you draw into them. We're not playing that. We are just going straight Kirlia into Gardevoir EX because we have a myriad of single prize attackers that we can utilize. The first one that is the best attacker in this deck, in my opinion, is the Mismagius. I've been wanting to use this card for so long, but I haven't found a very consistent deck for it. This is the perfect time to play it because Mismagius doesn't seem like a threat. It has the Spiteful Magic ability. So if it gets knocked out with full HP, you put 8 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, so they can't reduce that damage. Doesn't seem like a lot, but hear me out. It also has the attack Eerie Voice. Allows you to put 2 damage counters on all of your opponent's Pokemon. So it definitely bypasses Manaphy. It doesn't seem like a lot of damage as well, but if you think about it, if your opponent has a full bench, that means there's 6 Pokemon in play. You do 2 damage counters to everything. That's 120 damage on the board. And then if they knock you out, that's another 80 damage. So it's basically 200 damage set on the board. Now, why is that important? It's spread all over. It doesn't really help you take knockouts. Well, our second attacker is the Mimikyu with the worst gift attack. It allows you to do 10 damage for every damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon. So our game plan is to lead with the Mismagius, kind of string Mismagius attacks over. If you do it twice, that is 400 damage on the board, which means Mimikyu is knocking out everything in the format. Nothing will survive a Mimikyu attack. So you're basically stringing those attackers and taking really big prizes and pretty much presenting yourself as a single prize deck. Now, we do have some other attackers in this deck. We have the Drifloon, which is a really great cheap attacker that can hit for a lot of damage. It has the Balloon Blast attack. It does 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Now, it has 70 HP, so if you pair it with Gardevoir EX, you can accelerate 3 energies to it, which means you're putting it at 60 damage, so you're doing 180. Now, when we get the Cape of Toughness reprint in the next couple of sets, this card's going to be broken. I'm definitely going to revisit Drifloon when that happens, but right now, it is hitting for 180. It is really great. It's cheap. It's also single prizer, so you can definitely use Drifloon to put a lot of damage on your opponent's board, and then kind of pair that up with the Mimikyu to then capitalize on that damage from Drifloon. Now, the other thing that we have is the Drifblim to evolve onto the Drifloon. Drifblim is actually really good too. It has the Curse Spreading attack, so it allows you to put 8 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like, so very similar to Sableye in the Lost Box. Speaking of Lost Box, there's really 2 matches that we kind of struggle against. We struggle against Goodra just because we are not hitting as much as other decks, and they could potentially heal most of that damage away, and Lost Box. Lost Box can kind of pick off our single prizers with that Sableye. This is why we play the Drifblim, because Drifblim's kind of a good counter against the Lost Box matchup. Other things to note is we are playing the Radiant Alakazam. Radiant Alakazam is really good in this deck. The original Gardevoir deck plays Radiant Greninja, obviously to get energies in discard and to draw even more. We don't need that draw power, and we don't need that energy acceleration from Gardevoir EX as much as other decks because most of our attackers at most need 3 energies. Now, the Radiant Alakazam is really great because it allows you to move those damage counters around, preserving those damage if you're already taking a knockout on the active. I have been playing the original version of the Gardevoir list. It is pretty nice, but it's kind of a little bit of a straightforward path. You're just powering up a lot of energies and swinging for big numbers. That's the only thing that this deck lacks, is we can't really do that yet until we get a lot of damage on board. Then Mimikyu can swing for big numbers. But I really like the fact that we have a bunch of options, right? We can KO smaller Pokemon. We can set up bigger Pokemon for KOs later down the line, which your opponent may not see. That's pretty much it for the list. Let's hop onto the ladder and I'll show you some of the matches that I got with this spicy Gardevoir EX deck. Okay, we're leading with the Misdreavus. It might be worth putting the Manaphy down, but I'm not entirely sure what this deck is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Ralts and the Drifloon. Probably going to put the Alakazam. We don't get energy attachment, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We only need one for the Mismagius, but one Kirlia draw isn't really enough to get us out of this hand, so we'll have to hopefully get something good off this top deck. Looks like my opponent is thinking about what to do. Now, I really like this deck. I like this version of Gardevoir because it really makes it pretty much a single price deck, right? You have the Drifloon, you have the Mismagius, you have the Drifblim, which could also be attacker. We even have the Radiant Alakazam, which could be an attacker. And then we also have, there's one more thing that I'm missing. Oh, the Mimikyu. The Mimikyu, of course, the most important attacker in this deck. So we'll see how it fares against my opponent's deck. It looks like it is potentially Miraidon. Yep, so it looks like we're going up against Miraidon. I've had some good matches against Miraidon, even when they do pop off, so we'll see if it's consistent. They bench a Mareep, which is going to be really great for us. They're going to go tandem units, probably for some Regielekis. Now, this is the cool thing about this deck, is when your opponent doesn't really know what they're going up against, they're just going to put some VMAXs in play, and if you can spread enough damage on the board, you can actually take a lot of prizes just off of that like spread damage. But it doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like they're just going with more Miraidons and then a Raikou. Raikou could be an issue, but I think we should be okay. And there's the Magnemite for the potential, what am I thinking of? The Magnemite, the Magnezone EX. Or potentially, no, that's the only thing that's going to be useful. Yeah, so they're probably going to use the Magnezone for this Magnemite here. Now they put the Seal Stone. Is that going to grab them a Generator or an Arvin? We'll see. They're going to boss. Okay, boss up the Ralts probably. No, the Alakazam. Okay. Interesting play on my opponent. And then just to pass, so no energy attachment, nothing really there. We do have the Kirlia, so we can do this. I think we go ahead and just discard the Drifblim. We can always get it back with Miriam if we need to. We have Ultra Ball. Does that get us anything really? Not entirely. Beach Court, I could attach Retreat, but that doesn't really help. So I might just... Because next turn, I don't want to put the Beach Court in play because then they can retreat the Greninja. They could come in with Raikou, knock out the Alakazam, which is not amazing, but it's not the worst thing in the world if we don't have the Radiant Alakazam in play. So I think I'm just going to attach the energy to the Misdreavus and then just pass. So not a great turn on our part. We did kind of whiff there, but we'll see if my opponent can capitalize on it. But that's a great thing about this deck, is that because you're so heavily focused on putting single prizers in play, you can afford some knockouts here and there, as opposed to like the typical Gardevoir build where you have the Zacian, which is 2 prizers, you have all the Gardevoir EXs, which are 2 prizers. We don't even necessarily need the Gardevoir EX until the late game, so we can kind of afford this at the moment. We'll see if I regret that. They're just gonna do the fleet-footed to get an extra card. Who knows, maybe they're stuck in the active. Then we can just switch, do some shenanigans. Nope, they have the rare candy, so it is the Magnezone EX. So they don't do any bench damage, so I think I'm okay with getting rid of the Manaphy this next turn. They're gonna rope. If they have energy attachment, then they can just knock out the Misdreavus, so I'm just gonna go ahead and promote the Drifloon. That's okay, we have the Rescue Carrier, so we can get it back with the Rescue Carrier. I would like to save the Rescue Carrier, but in this case, I think we're gonna need to use it for some more Driflooms. Do they have energy attachment? They have the Seal Stone. Or did they already used it? I completely missed when they used that. They probably used it for candy, maybe boss. And they have the research the whole time. They had 2 researches. I don't know why they took forever to play the research. They only had 2 cards and they were both researches. Okay, they get the experience share. Most likely they have energy here. Now, Drifloon could be a really great attacker as well in this matchup if we can get some Mismagius attacks going, but because we don't have a lot of energies in the discard, at least 3 energies in the discard, we can't power it up properly. So I'm okay with sacrificing it here. I think that's totally fine. They just pass, okay. So that's a pretty nice pass for us. We'll use the Nest Ball, get another Ralts in play. Yeah, that seems fine. We're gonna go Kirlia. Discard the Manaphy. We got Mimikyu, which is great for us. I think what I'm gonna do then is Ultra Ball. I don't want to lose the Drifblim, but I think I need an Ultra Ball to get the Mismagius in play. So I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna Ultra Ball, get rid of the Mimikyu and the energy. Grab myself the Mismagius. Let's see what we prize. So we do have another Mimikyu. We do have another Drifloon. So those are the kind of the big things I was worried about. We have all of our Kirlia and Ralts line. We're down 1 boss, I believe. Yeah, because I think we played 2. Do we have Pal Pad? We do have Pal Pad. So we're pretty decent. And I think we prized 1 Battle VIP Pass. And we have a carrier. So this is good. We'll go in with the Mismagius. We'll have to give them a Beach Court, but that's totally fine. I'm okay with that. We're going to evolve the Mismagius, retreat, go in with the Mismagius, and then just go in with the eerie voice, putting 20 everywhere. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if they attack the Mismagius, that means that we're going to go, or they're going to be down to 100 HP, which means Drifloon can take the knockout there. And then they're going to have a lot of damage on board for us to kind of capitalize on later down the line. Also, Drifloon, I think this Magnezone might be a problem just because it has so much HP, but we'll deal with that with the Mimikyu at some point. Maybe if we can get a Drifblim? I always mess up this name. Yeah, Drifblim and Drifloon, those are the differences. But if we can get a Drifblim in play, we could actually knock out the Flaffy pretty easily. I don't know if that's going to be a priority though. Okay, and then if for some reason, okay, they judge. That's actually great for us. Okay, that's a pretty decent hand. We can get another Kirlia in play. So if for some reason they do knock out the Kirlia, we have an out with the Level Ball to get another Kirlia. That's okay. Doesn't mean we're a turn behind on Gardevoir. I would like to make this into Gardevoir, but we'll see. They finally get some concealed cards going, which is good for them. Let's see how we can capitalize on that. Okay, they're powering up the Magnezone, which is pretty good. We could boss around it, right? We could just take our prizes this way with the Raikou, Miraidon. But we'll see. We'll see how the rest of this plays out. They now go down to 100. We can now promote the Drifloon, and then we could try and get a Gardevoir EX in play, which means we can take the knockout on this. if we can boss, how much damage would we be doing? So 20, that's 200 in total. So we'll be only doing 200 right now. But if I could schmack the Magnezone, that'll be 200 just on the Magnezone alone. But I do kind of want to take my prizes now. So I have 3 prizes ready for the taking. Fog Crystal's pretty good, so we'll grab ourselves another Misdreavus. Or do we grab Mimikyu here? I think we grab Misdreavus. We'll save the Mimikyu for a later date. Go do this. We have another Drifloon. Do I put the Drifloon? Let's see, let's level ball first to get the Kirlia out. We can throw this in play. We'll go... Actually, let's do this. No, because either way, we're gonna need 2 energies. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna grab the Mimikyu, just in case if I do need it. We'll go ahead, Refinement, get rid of this energy, because we're basically searching for Gardevoir at this point. Refinement again, get rid of this. Hello? Okay, for some reason my Google just went off, but that's okay. I think we're okay. We're just gonna go ahead and research here. Hopefully get the Gardevoir. We got the Gardevoir, that's great. We have energy attachment. Let's go spoons here, because we're definitely gonna take the knockout on this Raikou. So I'm gonna move this energy. What's gonna be the best? That puts both of them at 190. I'm gonna go ahead and move the energy to this Miraidon, because then I can definitely take the knockout. Or do I just put it on the Magnezone and set that up for potential 2-hit knockout? They probably play the Cheryl, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on the Miraidon and not worry about the Magnezone at this point. How many energies do we have in the discard? We have 3, so we can definitely power up the Drifloon and take some prizes. I'm gonna put the energy here. That seems okay. And then we'll go Psychic Embrace, power up our Drifloon, and then take 2 prizes off of the Raikou V. Do we need to do anything else? I think we're okay. We'll go ahead and Balloon Blast for a whopping 180, taking our 2 prizes there. Now, they might be able to attack with the Miraidon. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think if they do send up the Magnezone, right, they're going to have to use Pulse Launcher, which means they're going to be putting 30 more damage in play, which means we could definitely capitalize on that. Take our 2 prizes here. See what we grab. Another Misdreavus, it's fine. Nest Ball, it's okay. I would like to see a boss and a Rescue Carrier here. That way we can kind of recycle these Drifloons and the Mimikyu. Because at the moment, Mimikyu is doing what, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. 120 is not a lot, but we can definitely work with it. They could, with attachment and Flaffy, attack with a Miraidon, but it looks like they're just going with this. They definitely will take the knockout on the Drifloon, which means we could return with the Misdreavus, hit again for a whopping 20 all over. And then if they knock me out, they're going to take 80, which then means my Mimikyu can definitely take out the Magnezone, and then I just need to boss up a Miraidon for a game. In terms of prize trading, they're going to take 1, 2, potentially 3, 4. So we should be able to survive the prize trade. The Magnezone being very beefy does make this a little bit difficult, but they are going to go Pulse Launcher, right? They did Pulse Launcher. Or did they do, no, they did Energy Crush, which is fine. But me not putting any energies here could be beneficial. I don't want to do that. I might actually put this Ralts in play because we do have the Kirlia in hand. So I'm going to go ahead and evolve this. I think we want to drop some energies into the discard. Let's do that. Do I need to Pal Pad anything? I have research, no. So we'll save the Pal Pad. Let's just go ahead and refinement. Move this energy over here. We got another Gardevoir. What I'm gonna do is actually move this 20 onto the Magnezone. Yeah. Let's do spoons. Move the 20 off the Greninja because we're never gonna try and take that knockout, and then just put it onto this Magnezone here. I'm gonna save this Gardevoir. And then, yep, just go Eerie Voice. Hit everything for 20. This puts the Magnezone at 270. And then it's gonna take an extra 80, which means it puts it at 190, which we can definitely take the knockout with Mimikyu after that. I might honestly cut the Drifblooms, or maybe we could just go down to 1. It's never an amazing option, but it is good against Lost Box, so that's why I keep it. And it's not clogging up the deck that much, so I think 2 is fine. You could cut it down to 1 if that's what you're feeling, but I really like going in with Mismagius and Drifloons and kind of looping that, looping those attackers back and forth. Because now at this point, they're probably going to boss around this Mismagius if they don't want to take that extra 80 damage. But if they don't have that boss, right, we can just kind of go in with whatever. We can go in with Mimikyu. We could probably even go in with Radiant Alakazam. They do have a lot of cards in hand. There's a Radiant Alakazam attack, Mind Ruler, 20 for each card in their hand. So if they have a lot of cards, right, they have 8. So that means we're doing 160. Which means we can definitely take a knockout on this Miraidon with Alakazam if we need to as well. They're setting up this Miraidon. They're setting up both Miraidons, so they can attack potentially with both Miraidons. This Magnezone has a high retreat cost, so unless they have a switch, they're going to be definitely attacking with this. They do. They have the rope. Okay, so rope is actually not that bad. I can just give them Ralts here, actually. I think that seems totally fine. Yeah, we can give them Ralts. That's okay. What will they give me? Miraidon. Okay. And then they're going to boss. What are they going to boss? Maybe Mimikyu? Gardevoir? No, the Kirlia. That's not bad. I mean, we have another Kirlia, so we can definitely work with that. I'm wondering if it's worth going in with Mismagius now, or just KOing this Miraidon with Mimikyu. Because we can definitely take the knockout, right? Just need 180, that's 60... 80, 100. Yeah, we definitely have the knockout on this Miraidon with Mimikyu. So I can just keep loading all the damage counters from this Miraidon onto this Magnezone and then take my knockout that way. Looks like they Pal Pad. They probably put back a boss, maybe. Okay. Photon Blast. We can definitely just go in with the Mimikyu, take 2 prizes there, and then all we have to do is really just boss up this Miraidon, and we'll have game. So I think we are good there. Let's go ahead and drop this down. We don't need that Battle VIP Pass, so I will definitely get rid of it. Go ahead with the refinement. We have Rescue Carrier, which is amazing. We can definitely put that. We can actually use that now, actually. Let's do that now. So I'll go Rescue Carrier, grab myself the Drifloon and the Mimikyu. Those are going to be the best options for us. I'm thinking, what's going to be better? I think putting Drifloon in play is going to be better because that's a guaranteed 180. Whereas if for some reason they Cheryl the Magnezone, that might put us out of range with another Mimikyu. So I'm just going to put that in play. I'm going to attach 1 energy to the Mimikyu. That seems fine. Let's just make sure we're doing enough. Yep, we're doing definitely enough. We'll do this. I'm going to Gardevoir. 1 more energy. And that's the cool thing about this deck. Psychic Embrace isn't needed for us to take big knockouts. Like a lot of our attackers only require like 2 to 3 energies. Or, yeah, 2 to 3 energies. So I'm definitely gonna put the damage counters on that, just in case if they try to, like, you know, lock us with that. And I think we did prize a boss, so hopefully we grab it off of these prizes, because then that'll just be game. Right now, this guy has 250 HP. No boss, but that's okay. We have a Kirlia to sort of work with. And they realistically still need to take 3 prizes. If for some reason they boss up this Gardevoir, I don't think they're going to be able to take a knockout, which means all we need to do is try and either get a boss on this guy or somehow reach 250 damage. I could go in with a Mismagius, load up a lot of damage counters onto the field, and then that could give us that knockout on the Magnezone. Because I can still keep loading damage counters onto it. They definitely cannot go in with this Miraidon, because I easily can knock it out with my Gardevoir, with Drifloon, maybe even Alakazam if they get more cards in their hand. 140, no, so I can't do it with Alakazam. If they have 1 more card, I could. Yeah. I go with the Judge. Judge is actually great, because that might give us the boss. Come on. Okay, no boss, unfortunately. But we can still have a Kirlia, and we still have a Dream. Let's see. They are going to go in with the Magnezone. Totally fine. We did get the Mimikyu out of the deck, right? So what I could even do, because I can't see them taking a knockout on a Gardevoir. I can't see them ever reaching 310 damage. I can go on with Drifloon, hit for 180, and then that way I can pretty much take a knockout on anything. Now, if Leafy Camo Poncho worked with EXs, I would definitely put 1 in this deck, because then you just are pretty much running a single prize deck. Serena doesn't work here, so I have to kind of go with something else. I'm going to Nest Ball here to grab this Mimikyu. I'm going to go ahead and grab this out of my deck. Oh no, not this. I want Kirlia. Kirlia, that's what I need. We're going to Kirlia, probably just get rid of the Nest Ball, it's fine. No dice there, but we still can attack, so let's do this. And then we'll Psychic Embrace to the Drifloon, and I actually will go ahead and research. That way, I have a better chance of hitting boss next turn. And then we save 2 energies in the discard so that, I mean, I'll still discard more energies, but just in case if they do boss up my Gardevoir and just leave it there, we'll be able to use Psychic Embrace to retreat ourselves. So we're not gonna be, you know, locked out of attacking. But there's that boss. So we have everything that we need. Let's go ahead and just move these damage counters from the Greninja again onto the Magnezone. And I think in case they do Judge, again, I'm gonna go ahead, Ultra Ball, get rid of these guys. I won't need those. I could definitely use that. And then I think we're good to just hit for 180. We're gonna smack the big guy. Now, if they have Cheryl, that's totally fine, Because all we have to do is just boss up this Miraidon and then hit it with a Gardevoir EX. And we do have the boss in hand. They have a rare candy, so there's another Magnezone in play. They could retreat this Magnezone, but again, they could, okay, this is what they could do. Cheryl, retreat, or Cheryl, Flaffy, retreat, go in with another Magnezone. That's probably their best play if they have the Cheryl. If anything, they could just attach, power up with Flaffy. No, they don't have any energies in the discard, so they have to get rid of energies with the Cheryl in order to power up this new Magnezone. We'll see if they have it. Nope, they just go with the Energy Crush, which means we can take out this Magnezone with ease with Mimikyu. Let's go in with Mimikyu. That seems to be the play. So you can kind of see how many options this version of the deck has. It's really cool to kind of spread the damage around so that your opponent doesn't really see where you're trying to take your prizes, because then everything is open to getting knocked out with Mimikyu, which is really, really nice. You can just go ahead, attach the energy, and then hit for 400 damage, definitely knocking out this Magnezone, and then taking our last two prizes. I really like this version of the deck. I played the typical Gardevoir. It's good, it's really nice, but it's just so linear, whereas this one, I just love being able to kind of spread this damage and then capitalizing on it with the Mimikyu. 800 damage, that's crazy. Looks like my opponent is just taking their time, so we'll just end the game here. Let's hop on to the next game. Okay, this is a pretty good start. I don't want to lose Ralts here, so I am just going to put the Drifloon in play. Looks like we're going up against Lugia V-Star. It's my first time playing up against a Lugia V-Star, so let's see how this matchup works. We can ping the board for a lot of damage, but can we capitalize on that? We got the Misdreavus, which is actually really great. I'm going to go ahead, drop these down, go ahead with the Fog Crystal. Maybe I should have saved that for energy. Let's go ahead, grab ourselves a Ralts. We have, what do we have? We have energy, we have Misdreavus. We have one Mismagius prize, so good to know. We have all of our Kirlias, all of our Guardies. I think this deck plays 3 boss, or maybe 2 boss Pal Pad, but we did prize that Pal Pad, and we prized a carrier. So let's do this. Oh, I was gonna grab energy with that. It's okay. We can do this. Oh, we have the carrier and Pal Pad in hand, so we're fine. I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself, I guess, a Ralts, and then maybe Drifloon. Do they play? I don't think they play Amazing Rare Raikou anymore. We could grab another Drifloon. We could grab Misdreavus and then Carrier to that. That could also be a play. So I'm gonna go ahead and bench those down. Bench this last Ralts, and then do I need to draw? I don't think so, because we're not gonna be able to attack, and I can just attach one energy to the Mismagius and still attack, so it's not like I'm desperate for that hand attachment. They do put the Collapse Stadium, so we can get rid of this Misdreavus. That's totally fine. And they're gonna go ahead and research. They did get rid of one Arceus, or not Arceus, Archeops. One Chops. Looks like they're playing Umbreon VMAX, so that's interesting to note. Umbreon VMAX, is it just any Pokemon? You may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon when they're active. Yep, so that could be dangerous because they hit Gardevoir EX for weakness, so we don't want them to pull up the Gardevoir and then hit for a knockout. So we do need to be mindful of that. But it is an easy 3 prizes, so that's something that I do want to try and set up. They don't knock out the Drifloon, which is funny enough. We could utilize that with Balloon Blast, but we don't have energy on it, so we can go do this. We have Carrier, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Serena, discard, put the Carrier in the discard, keep the Pal Pad. We got Ultra Ball. I could Ultra Ball the Nest Ball and the Energy. Grab myself a Kirlia. I think I do need to get rid of this Pal Pad, unfortunately, so I will do that. So let's go ahead, get rid of the Pal Pad. And then we got Research, so we can go ahead, put the other Kirlia in play, put the Energy on there. Ooh, I kind of want to save this Research then, because we did use Serena at the start of the turn. I don't want to Kirlia the Research away. So I think we'll just have to pass. Now, if they just land pulse me again, I could use Balloon Blast. I could have used Balloon Blast if I attached, and then if they just land pulse me again, I can attach again. But it seems like that's not going to be the case. So it looks like my opponent is going to Mesagoza for a Lumineon. Probably going to get them maybe Research, Burnett. They might be playing Burnett. Who knows if Burnett's good here. They could get double chops in play though. It is Burnett. Okay, so Burnett's good now? I guess so. I mean, it's gonna get them the double chops, yeah. Then they can just start swinging. Okay. Okay. I can put some more Lucky Energy. They're gonna retreat, probably go into the Umbreon. Okay. Primal Turbo. Guess I can Moonlight Blade, take knockouts. But this is nice because then Mismagius can put this board in a damage state. I can attack this whole board, putting the damage counters all over. They're just going to hit for 100, taking the knockout on the Drifloon, but that's totally fine. We have the Mismagius, we can still utilize that. So let's go ahead. We have Fog Crystal. We can go actually use that. Let's go ahead and use that to grab ourselves another Drifloon, I believe. Or we could grab another Mismagius. We don't have another one in deck though, so I think I will just grab the Drifloon. Vent that, go Research here. We got another Kirlia, so we can go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead, Kirlia away. I think the Energy? Maybe the Manaphy? I don't know if I need Manaphy in this matchup. Their attackers are Umbreon, Lugia, and Stonejourner, so I think I'm okay with just doing that. We can get rid of an Energy here. Actually, I probably should be playing Level Ball before I do that. That's a misplay on my part. I should be playing these cards. Let me actually Nest Ball here for a Mimikyu. And then I can actually attach an Energy to the Mimikyu. And then let's go Mesagoza, just see if we can pull anything out of the deck. That way we can just thin it. If they do try and judge or something, we could definitely utilize it. That seems good. I will grab another Guardy. Do I want another Guardy? I think I want a Mimikyu just in case. That could seem good. I don't know. I'm just kind of using my cards. I could use Beach Court here. That way they don't have access to Mesagoza to get Umbreon VMAX and then Gus. Let's just throw it now. And then guess we can Level Ball here just to thin out a Kirlia and then draw some more cards. Because thinning is winning. That seems good. I'm okay with that. Let's leave it at that. We'll go Eerie Voice. Spread all the damage. So 120 all across the board. If they knock me out, that's going to be 200. And then Mimikyu can just take the knockout on the Umbreon V. Now, if they do evolve into the VMAX, that's going to be a little bit tough. But we can just swing in with Drifloon to kind of thin it down. And then Mimikyu can kind of just take a knockout wherever. Now they could boss here. They are gonna boss. They're gonna boss up potentially a Kirlia. Nope, there's that Mimikyu boss. Okay, so I was right. That Mimikyu was gonna come down. The Mimikyu was gonna go down. And then they just do Meloop. Meloop does that much damage? With one energy? One fusion, that? Okay. Oh, because it was a weakness. Okay, now I see, now I see. We can just keep going with Mismagius. I think that's totally fine. Or I could KO it with the Drifloon. What am I feeling? How are we feeling? Honestly, I think KOing this with Drifloon's going to be nice. Because this is the only thing that's threatening my Gardevoir. Like, they could put powerful energies. No, wait, is powerful energy still in the format? I don't think so. So I am just gonna go ahead. Let's actually use this ability first. I'm gonna go ahead, get rid of Psychic Energy. We got another one that's really good. So we have 4 in the discard. We can actually just go ahead and do this. Let's go Guardy. We can retreat this Mismagius. Go in with the Drifloon. Let's go ahead and do Fog Crystal to grab this energy. That way I can just reattach it wherever. I could attach it to the Mismagius. I might bench another Mimikyu and attach it there. I guess it doesn't truly matter. I guess it matters more on the Mismagius. So let me do it there. We'll go Psychic Embrace to get 3 energies onto the Drifloon. That way we can hit for 180 and take a knockout on this Umbreon. That way we'll keep up in the prize race. And then after that, if they do send up the Lugia, I can go in with Mismagius and then kind of build up my board again with damage counters. I will go ahead and Kirlia. That way we could potentially see a boss in this next couple of turns. No boss just yet. I could get rid of the Nest Ball here, that's totally fine. We have Miriam, that's not bad. So I'm okay with that. Let's just go ahead, Balloon Blast. Take the knockout on the Umbreon, that way they don't have access to Umbreon V-Star, or sorry, Umbreon VMAX. And their Lugia is the only thing that we were kind of worried about. And if they do bench another 2-prizer, we actually could just avoid this V-Star and go KO. But we'll see what they do. Oh, they have Tyranitar. I forgot about Tyranitar. So Tyranitar is definitely a threat against the Gardevoir. So they could go in with Tyranitar. They can knock out. How much energies do they need? They could Cragalanche me, which could actually be tough. So I do need to save the Miriam just in case if they do Cragalanche. I do want to set up the Lugia V-Star. Okay, they're gonna judge. That's not terrible, but it's not great either. Okay, we got the Miriam again, so that's totally fine. They have the Urn. So they put back all of that 1 single strike energy, I think. And they're just gonna attack with the Lugia. Okay. So we have a chance to kind of swing with either the Mismagius or another Drifloon. If we can get Rescue Carrier, we can attack with another Drifloon. I don't need those, so let's go ahead and discard that. Yep, boss. Let me see, is there anything in my deck that I can level ball? No, so I can get rid of Level Ball and Nest Ball. That seems fine. I also want to get rid of this Battle VIP Pass 2. Okay. So they can attack this next turn with Tyranitar. They could actually use Lumineon and return that to the deck. How much am I doing? I could boss up the Stonejourner and make it so that they don't have a good retreat, or they have to waste their energies trying to retreat this. I think I just go Mismagius here and save the boss. Now, if they do Cragalanche, they discard the top 4 cards of my deck, so I do need to be careful of that. I have 10 cards left, and I did get rid of things like my Pal Pad. and they could discard my Rescue Carrier. So that could actually be a win condition for them. So I do need to be careful for that, but I do have Miriam, so if they do discard things like Gardevoir EX, I can put those back into the deck. How many bosses are they down? They're down one boss. Okay, looks like they probably are going to attach to the Tyranitar, yep. So they're getting ready for that. They could go ahead and boss up the Tyranitar, or boss up the Gardevoir, and swing that way. But then if that's the case, I just Miriam, get another Mimikyu on board, potentially knock out, or not a Mimikyu, I can get another Drifloon on board, and then take a knockout, and then take a knockout. Now they just attack with the Lugia, so we could actually swing with the Mimikyu here, and then that's at 160, so that could also get a knockout. How many prizes do they need? They need 2, so I do actually need to KO this Tyranitar this turn. Let's see, can I get Drifblooms back? I could. So I think we go ahead and no, we can't Miriam now because we have to boss KO this. Is that 210? How much does Mimikyu do? 300? Oh yeah, we can definitely do it. So let's do this. I'm gonna attach energy here. I'm gonna go ahead and Psychic Embrace. Put energy here because I'm worried that they were gonna boss up the Gardevoir and take 2 prizes. So I need to take the knockout on the Tyranitar this turn. And go ahead and thin out the level ball, so I won't need that. Same thing with the Nest Ball, because then I do have another boss in case they do try to send up something else. So let's go ahead and actually thin the deck out just a little bit more. That way, if they do somehow try to boss stall me, I can take the knockout on, say, like a Lumineon or something of that sort. And then we can just go boss up here, take up the Tyranitar, go ahead and swing for 300 damage, taking the knockout on the Tyranitar V, and then this saves us enough resources to try and knock out either the Lugia V-Star or the Lumineon. It looks like they're going up with Stonejourner. That's totally fine. We definitely can just Miriam this next turn. Or do I need to Miriam? I probably can't Miriam here, but I can just power up the Gardevoir, right? I can power up the Gardevoir EX, search for a boss up the Lumineon, and then just take a knockout there. I could even boss up Lugia V-Star too. We have plenty of outs here. I think I actually will just send up the Gardevoir EX, that way I don't have to worry about trying to retreat or anything. Looks like they're going to retreat, going into the Lugia V-Star, and then just Tempest Dive, which means we take the knockout with the Gardevoir EX right here, right now, with just an attachment and then 2 energies, and then that's all she wrote. Perfect match here. We can Psychic Embrace, get our energies onto the Gardevoir, and that is the Lugia matchup. So you can see, and then they just concede. You can see how crazy it is just doing Mismagius and then Mimikyu. Ooh, interesting bug. So that is going to be it for the video. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of this deck list. Personally, I love it. I think it is the most fun way to play Gardevoir, and I don't even think it's a downgrade from the current competitive list. Like, you could probably tech a lot of these attackers in the current competitive Gardevoir list and still make it really good. And I just love the playstyle of poking with single prize attackers and then taking those big knockouts in the late game with Mimikyu. If you liked the video, then hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and definitely check out the live streams on YouTube Sunday at 7 p.m. Definitely come by if you're free and chill. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Okay, so they can do their V-Star. No, they can't, because they pat themselves. Haha. Sucks to suck.